He had a list of failures longer than his resume, and a hope that was running on empty. This is Leo. And if you were to meet him on this particular rainy Tuesday, you would see a man who was, by all accounts, lost. The world had given him every reason to quit. It had whispered no so many times, he had almost forgotten what yes sounded like. His story didn't start here, in this small room with the peeling wallpaper. It started with a dream. A simple, powerful dream. Leo wanted to build a small tech company, one that created beautiful, simple apps to help people stay connected to their faraway families. He saw it so clearly in his mind. The design, the code, the smiling faces of grandparents seeing their grandchildren grow up. He poured everything into it. His savings, his nights, his heart. The first failure was a surprise. He presented his idea to a group of potential investors. He practiced for weeks. But when he stood up, his mind went blank. The words tangled. The presentation flopped. He walked out with nothing but a polite handshake and a sinking feeling in his gut. He told himself, "It's okay, it's just the first try." So he tried again. Failure number 2 came when his first prototype crashed spectacularly during a demo. A few people in the audience actually laughed. Number 3 was when his first business partner left, taking a key piece of the project with him. Number 4, 5, 6, they came like waves, each one knocking him down, eroding a little more of his confidence. He lost count after 30, but life didn't. Failure 42, his car broke down on the way to a crucial meeting. Failure 57, a major client signed with a competitor instead. Failure 88, he had to move out of his small office and work from his kitchen table. Each no felt like a door slamming shut. Each setback felt like a confirmation of a terrible truth he was starting to believe about himself. Maybe he wasn't good enough. Maybe he wasn't smart enough. Maybe the dream was just too big for a man like him. The world wasn't just not clapping for him. It felt like it had left the auditorium entirely. And then came failure number 99. It was the one he thought would finally break him. It was a project he had worked on for 6 straight months. A project he'd believed in with every fiber of his being. He presented it, his voice raw with hope and fear, and the answer was the same. A rejection. But this one was different. It was gentle, almost pitying. He went home that night, and for the first time, he didn't feel angry or sad. He just felt empty. A hollow shell. The fight was gone. He looked at his computer, at the stacks of notebooks filled with ideas, and he made a decision. He was going to give up. He spent the next week in a fog. He didn't open his laptop. He didn't answer emails. He just existed. He went for long walks. He watched the world go by, and on one of those walks, he saw something. An old man was teaching a little boy, probably his grandson, how to fly a kite. The boy would run. The kite would lift for a moment, and then it would tumble back to the earth. Again, and again, and again. Leo stood and watched, expecting the boy to get frustrated, to cry, to give up. But he didn't. Each time the kite fell, the old man would simply smile, pat the boy on the back, and together they would untangle the string. And the boy would run again, his face set not in disappointment, but in determination. Fall, get up, run! Fall, get up, run! Leo must have watched them for an hour. And then, on what felt like the 100th try, a gust of wind caught the kite. It soared. It climbed higher and higher, a brilliant splash of color against the blue sky. The boy whooped with joy, and the old man clapped, his face beaming with pride. And in that simple, ordinary moment, something shifted inside Leo. It wasn't a loud, dramatic revelation. It was a quiet whisper in his soul. He hadn't failed 100 times. He had learned 100 ways how not to build a kite. Every crashed prototype taught him about durability. Every rejected pitch taught him how to communicate. Every person who walked away made room for the right ones to arrive. He had been collecting data, experience, and resilience, and he had mistaken it for failure. He went home. He didn't open his old projects. He opened a blank page, and he started from scratch. But this time, it was different. He wasn't a hopeful dreamer anymore. He was a seasoned craftsman. He knew the wood. He knew the wind. He knew exactly how to build this kite. He worked for 3 months, not with frantic energy, but with a calm, steady purpose. He wasn't doing it for the applause anymore. He was doing it because it was the thing he was meant to do. The journey had become the reward. And then he launched it. A simple, elegant app. He didn't expect much. He had made peace with the silence. But the silence didn't last. A small tech blog wrote about it. Then a user left a beautiful review about how it helped her feel close to her son, who was studying abroad. Then 10 users. Then 100. One morning, he woke up to an email. It was from one of the very first investors who had rejected him years ago. The subject line was, "I was wrong." The investor had seen the organic growth, the beautiful user feedback. He wasn't just offering funding now, he was asking to be a part of Leo's journey. Leo read the email, and then he read it again. He walked to his window, looked out at the city, and he smiled. There were no wild celebrations, no shouting from the rooftops, just a deep, profound, and quiet peace. This was it. This was life, finally clapping for him. But the applause wasn't in the investor's check. It wasn't in the growing number of users. The applause was the quiet confidence he now carried in his walk. It was the resilience that had become his backbone. It was the wisdom in his eyes that only comes from having weathered 100 storms. Life's applause wasn't a sound. It was the person he had become on the journey. So if you are in your own season of silence, if you have a list of failures that feels endless, I want you to think about Leo. Your failures are not stop signs. They are roadmaps. They are not proof that you can't do it. They are the training ground for the moment when you finally will. Keep building your kite. Keep running, even when you can't feel the wind. Your gust is coming. It always does. And when you finally soar, the loudest, most important applause won't come from the crowd. It will come from within you, from the stronger, wiser, unbreakable you. And that is the only applause that truly ever matters.